What would you do if a man who looked homeless walked into a bank and asked to see his balance? The first thing anyone noticed was how small he looked in the bright bank lobby. Daniel Mercer walked into the Lakeside branch just after sunrise, his back slightly hunched under a threadbare, faded jacket. The fabric smelled faintly of old rain, and the cuffs were softened from years of hands brushing over them, wiping away cold mornings. His boots scuffed the marble floor lightly, leaving faint echoes that faded into the buzz of fluorescent lights overhead. He looked like someone who slept near vents behind office buildings, the kind of man most people avoided without a second thought. The lobby lights were too bright, reflecting off the polished tiles, making him squint for a fraction of a second. A few customers glanced over, their expressions a mix of curiosity and judgment. A woman whispered to her friend, "Why is he even in here?" A man near the brochures muttered, "Looks lost, probably trying to scam someone." Daniel ignored them. He let his slow, deliberate steps carry him toward the counter, his eyes scanning everything. The security guard by the door, the subtle tension in the teller's shoulders, the faint hum of a printer somewhere in the back. The note had come the night before, unsigned, simple. "They're mistreating people, poor folks, people of color. Check it yourself." No explanation, no name, just truth wrapped in urgency. He hadn't slept since reading it, and now here he was, alone, dressed in Judgment's favorite outfit, worn clothes, unshaven jaw, tired steps. He carried only one thing he needed: honesty. Behind the counter, a man in his mid-40s looked up. Adam Whitman, the branch manager, had the crisp haircut of someone used to control, the expensive shirt of someone who liked authority. He scanned Daniel like inspecting a problem left on his doorstep. "Can I help you?" Adam asked, forcing a polite smile that didn't reach his eyes. Daniel placed a black diamond platinum card on the desk. Its edges were slightly worn, but the weight was unmistakable. "I'd like to check my balance," he said, calm, unshakable. A ripple of laughter moved through the nearby customers. One whispered, "He thinks that card is real." Another snorted softly. Adam leaned closer, squinting at the card. "Sir, where did you get this?" "Run it," Daniel said simply. His tone carried a quiet authority that made even the gossiping customers pause. The tension thickened in the room like a slow, heavy fog. The teller stopped, the guard stiffened, and the whispers faded into silence, all eyes glued to the counter. Daniel didn't move. His shoulders were relaxed, his gaze soft yet unflinching. Adam sighed, tapping the card against the desk with a smirk. "These things, they're usually only for our top clients, you know." Daniel nodded slowly. "Yes, I know." A woman in a navy blazer muttered, "He's confident for someone about to get thrown out." Adam, feeling the pressure of expectation, slid the card into the terminal. Each keystroke he made seemed louder than necessary, sharper than reality required. "This is sophisticated," he said loudly, half to himself, half to the watching crowd. "They get more creative every year." Daniel's calm didn't falter. He let the insults, the doubts, the judgment slide off him like water from glass. He didn't need anyone to believe in him. He knew the truth. The system spun for a heartbeat, then froze. Adam frowned, leaning closer to the screen, blinking repeatedly. A shiver of realization passed through him. Something wasn't right. Daniel watched him, the slight tightening of Adam's jaw, the shallow inhale. The way his hand trembled ever so slightly before gripping the desk, every micro-movement betrayed panic. And then the screen loaded. Daniel Mercer, executive account, balance far beyond what any human should need. The lobby collectively froze, phones tilted upward, eyes widened. A woman gasped quietly, "It's him, the CEO." Adam's face drained of color. His confident armor shattered in the blink of an eye. He opened his mouth, but no words came. The guard shifted, unsure whether to intervene or stand down. Daniel finally spoke, calm and even, the quiet authority of someone who had weathered storms far bigger than this moment. "Something wrong?" he asked. Could someone so judged by their clothes actually hold the power to shock everyone in the room? Adam swallowed hard. "Sir, this must be a system error." Daniel's eyebrow arched slightly, his gaze steady. "If this card had shown a balance of $20, would you have treated me any differently?" Adam couldn't answer. The truth hung heavy between them, and every person watching felt the weight. The air seemed to thicken, pressing in with the invisible force of accountability. Daniel stepped back slightly, letting the silence stretch. The stillness around him worked better than any words could. Every person in the room felt it, the quiet, unwavering presence of someone who didn't need to prove anything. Adam's eyes darted to the floor. I didn't know," he whispered. "Respect," Daniel said softly, "should not depend on clothes, identity, or assumptions. Every human deserves it." The whispering resumed, quieter this time. Phones remained tilted, recording the unfolding lesson. Customers exchanged glances, some shaking their heads in disbelief. Daniel turned slightly toward the crowd, not for show, but because the room was listening. A bank should not judge a person before hearing them. A balance doesn't determine dignity. A suit doesn't determine worth. A woman near the entrance murmured, "Wish someone had said that years ago." Adam Whitman's tie looked suddenly too tight. He tugged at it nervously, but there was no hiding the truth. Sweat glistened at his hairline. His confidence was gone. Only guilt and fear remained. "Your apology isn't for me," Daniel added. "It's for every person you've treated this way before today." The room held its breath. Phones recorded every second. Even the security guard relaxed, watching the CEO silently hold the space with nothing but quiet authority. Daniel left the bank that day wearing the same worn jacket. He didn't need applause. He didn't need recognition. He needed fairness, and he had reminded a roomful of people what it meant to truly see another human. The next morning, Daniel returned, now dressed in a crisp charcoal suit. The lobby seemed to straighten itself in his presence. Conversations softened. Employees pretended to busy themselves with papers, though their eyes tracked his every move. Adam Whitman wasn't in the building. His office door remained half open, desk cleared, nameplate removed. Boxes of HR documents sat stacked neatly inside, a silent testament to the consequences of misjudgment. Daniel walked with the regional director toward the operations room, his tone calm, yet every word carried weight. "No more guessing who deserves respect," he said. "Every customer gets dignity. Every person matters. No one is dismissed for looking poor, for being tired, for not fitting your expectations." Some employees watched with relief. Others felt guilt gnawing at them. A teller whispered to her colleague, "Maybe this place will finally feel human again." Daniel knew that power wasn't in wealth or title. Power was in quiet authority, in the ability to correct the wrongs others accepted without question. He didn't need a boardroom or a media announcement. His presence, his actions, his choices were enough. When he stepped outside, the morning breeze brushed across his face. The city moved around him as usual, cars honking, people rushing. Yet the memory of the previous day lingered, like a shadow stretching into light. Daniel had walked in as a man mistaken for homeless, judged without understanding, and left a room transformed. Not by anger, not by yelling, but by calm, unshakable presence. The lesson was simple yet profound. Dignity is inherent. Respect is not conditional. And sometimes the quietest person in the room carries the loudest truth. He didn't need applause. He didn't need recognition. He needed fairness. And he built it quietly, just as he had everything that truly mattered. Every person watching that day left with a lesson. Some shook their heads in awe, some in guilt, and a few, perhaps, felt the courage to change their own assumptions the next time they judged someone at first glance. If respect isn't earned by wealth or appearance, How would you treat someone who looks like Daniel Mercer?